What is up, guys? It is really late. It's like 2 in the morning. I don't know why that matters or why I'm telling you that. It's not how this video should start. But anyways, I've had this video in the back of my mind for a couple months now. And I've been going back and forth on whether or not I want to make it. Because, like, on the one hand, I really don't want to be, like, this fucking self-righteous dude who can't stay in his own lane. But on the other hand, like, I'm tired of noticing all the bullshit that goes on with these bigger YouTubers and, like, how far they push the envelope as far as, like, e-begging and trying to collect money off their subscribers and followers and everything. And while I was absent from YouTube for the past 2 years, that only seems to have escalated like 20 times. And as you can see from the title of this video, I titled this video, John Hancock is an addict. Now, I don't mean a drug addict. I'm a drug addict, a recovering drug addict, but I'll always be an addict. But that's how I could pick up on the parallels. John Hancock is 100% a vicious video game collecting addict. Meaning, he will do whatever it takes to get that next game he wants. John Hancock comes from that Metal Jesus Rocks crew scene thing. I've never been a big fan of Metal Jesus Rocks, and the reason is because the man himself admits he didn't play any video games in the 90s, and yet he's looked at as, like, you know, this video game connoisseur, even though really all he is a video game information broker. Like, I mean, he brings people in on his channel that have actual video game knowledge, makes ad money off them, and in return, that person starts to grow a small following, and in some cases a large following, such as, you know, pretty girls like Kelsey, who he loves to make thumbnails out of. Or, I mean, like, I don't have a problem with those people. I've talked to quite a few of them. Some of them are pretty cool. Like, I like Reggie a lot. He's a cool dude. I've talked to him. I know Crazy Joe's been on his channel. He's a good friend of mine. And none of those guys push the envelope with the e-begging shit, except for John Hancock. And, like, it's appalling. It's to the point where it's like I'm embarrassed for the dude, honestly. I mean, here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at his website, at his YouTube channel. Alright, so this is John Hancock's YouTube channel, and he's got 80-something thousand subscribers. And I've seen this happen all the time. I've lost a lot of friends over this shit. And once they get close to that 100,000 mark, they just think they're the fucking shit. And their shit don't stink. And they just develop this big fucking ego and think they could do whatever they want on YouTube. But here's what I'm talking about. Alright, let me click on one of his videos. Scroll down a little. First thing gets thrown in your face is fucking t-shirts. T-shirts, t-shirts, t-shirts. Not even a link to a t-shirt shop. Just straight up images of shirts for you to buy. And you go in description. Show more for description. What are the first things you see here? Subscribe to my channel. Patreon. PayPal. Like, why does he need Patreon and PayPal? And then, this is what I hate too, that people have been doing with Patreon lately. Okay, he's got 118 patrons, but he hides the amount of money he makes. Which means he's making a lot. Because the only reason he would hide it is because he thinks it would scare other people away from donating. And if he thinks that, then maybe it's time to get rid of a Patreon, dude. Or at least not take it. So at least be honest with everyone and tell everyone what you make. I mean, let's take a look at his social blades. So this month he got 205,000 views. And I guarantee Mr. Smiley gets some awesome CPN. I'm talking probably like $5 per 1,000 views. So this 200,000 views probably made $1,000. I'm guessing his Patreon probably brings in close to another $1,000. And then like to have the nerve to like list his fucking PayPal too. Like, hey guys, if you don't want to sign up for my Patreon or anything, just give me money directly. But then he took it a step further. And he tried launching one of these YouTube membership things. And he took the video down because it was full of hate. Like, I don't know I didn't know much about the YouTube membership thing, but basically it's a way to coax $5 out of your fans every month. And in exchange, they get a little stupid badge next to their name so everyone knows they're your #1 fan or something stupid like that. But this is his video apologizing for it. Not really apologizing. He called it a happy accident. Like he's fucking Bob Ross and he messed up drawing a bush. So he turned it into a tree. Well, this isn't painting, buddy. This is YouTube. And you're pissing a lot of people off with this. He's being greedy is what he is. And to go back to the whole concept of him being a vicious video game addict, that's what all this is coming from. Like, he's trying to get as much money as possible to buy all the fucking games in the world. Every single one. And I mean, look, even on the bottom here, he has missing game list. Why would you put missing game list if you weren't hoping people would donate to you? And I'm sure the missing list is full of expensive games, but he doesn't care. If someone wants to donate it to him, he'll gladly accept it. And then I've also heard some stories that I know that are true. I know a YouTuber named Megatron Mega donated him some pretty expensive Intellivision games when John Hancock told him they weren't really worth anything. They ended up being worth about $300-400. And then when Megatron Mega tried contacting him about it, guess what? He was just instantly blocked. And I don't know. Ever since I first saw Mr. Ear-to-Ear Smiley showing up on YouTube, I just knew there was something about that big old smile you couldn't trust. And basically what it comes down to is he just took e-begging way too far. Like, I'm down with having a Patreon if you produce content that warrants it. But his videos, they can't take more than like 40 minutes to shoot, maybe an hour to edit. He's not like, Billy from the Game Chaser spending night and day editing like a TV series or something. Like, he's making glorified game pickup videos. Why do you need a Patreon for that? And not just a Patreon, but then also the option to donate directly to PayPal, and then a whole membership fee thing. And then, here's a list of games I need. If you have those, send them to me anytime you want. It's just, I just don't understand how you could sit there and ask so much from your fans who owe you absolutely nothing. That's the main thing here, is YouTube owes you nothing, And not a single person that has ever watched one of your videos owes you anything. And that's something I always tried to keep in mind when I was going, super hard with YouTube, when our channel was like blowing up for a while. We never once thought about opening up a Patreon. We never once thought about selling shirts or anything like that. Because to us, just having an audience viewing our videos, that was all we needed. Like I've been making videos with my friends since I was 12 years old. I'm talking like pre-digital days, hooking up 2 VCRs with a little analog editing board. And I used to make like VHS copies and spread them around with my friends, and just having like 10 people watch what I make, that was enough for me. And then with YouTube, like, having a few thousand people watch it, that was fucking phenomenal. And that alone was what kept me going. But I mean, I don't know. I get it, I guess. I everything that he is doing is to support his video game habit. Like, he wants every video game in the entire world. Just like an addict wants all the drugs, at least all the drugs they can handle of the drug of their choice. And there's just so many parallels between, like, his addiction to video game and drug addiction. And another big one is illusions of grandeur. Like, addicts will try to validate their using by any means necessary. And I mean, like, talking like, they'll tell themselves, yeah, I'll just use today, and then tomorrow I'll go into rehab, or I'm going to get that really good job, or my using won't even matter, I'll be able to support my own habit. And it's just stuff like that. And for John Hancock, it's the illusion of opening up this video game museum. Like, that's honestly never going to happen. But he has no problem asking for donations from people for this quote-unquote future museum. But if you're donating to that museum, you know where your donation is going? It's going into his own personal collection, where it's going to stay. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just so disingenuous. And speaking of disingenuous, this is another thing I heard. I know it's true too, because a good buddy of mine who runs the channel Top Loaded Gaming, I'll put the link down below to his video. And I always wondered this too. So you guys remember those Sega at-games clone systems that were just fucking awful? Like the worst emulation ever. Like, didn't get a single sound effect right. Had tons of slowdown. It was just an awful, cheap Chinese knockoff product. Well, for whatever reason, John Hancock made several videos promoting those. And he recommended every single one that At-Games made. And I always scratch my head wondering why such a hardcore gamer who knows video games very well would recommend such a shitty product. Well, the dude that runs Top Loaded Gaming did a little digging and found out that John Hancock has an affiliate link to At-Games.
So I looked up how to distinguish an Amazon, specifically an Amazon affiliate link, and it basically states that anything that's like tag equals username, that's an affiliate link. So it would appear as though John is making some sort of money from these links. So while he may not necessarily be getting paid money from At-Games, for the reviews, he does have this link in his description, and anybody that would purchase based off this link, I would assume that he is making a portion of that. He gets some sort of payment based on that, and he is not disclosing that information.
I mean, like, could you be any more disingenuous? Like, you're gonna straight up lie to all of your fans that adore you and tell them to buy a piece of shit product so you could buy another fucking expensive video game to put on a shelf that you're never gonna touch. Maybe you'll pull it down for a glorified pickups video that you're gonna make even more money off of from Patreon and ad revenue. It's just like this vicious cycle that continues. And I don't know. Like I don't dislike the guy or anything. I just dislike what he's doing, and I think someone needed to call him out. And since most of the gaming community hates me anyways for talking shit or getting blamed mostly for things I've never done before, but I was just an easy target. Fuck it. I'll speak my mind. First Amendment's still in full effect as far as I know. And if he wants to make a response video, go right ahead. You can go and explain yourself, or you can come and attack me. Go for the low-hanging fruit that I drew you a roadmap for. I told you all about my addiction trouble, so feel free to use that and throw that in my face. Like, oh, he's just a drug addict. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's fine. If you want to take that route, that's fine. But I just don't understand how you could expect your fans to pay for so much unnecessary shit. And I know he's done a lot of good things too. I know he's done that, I don't know, what's it called? Some convention for kids, games for kids, where the donations go to kids with problems and stuff. So I know he's a good dude. But a lot of addicts are really good dudes too. I've met plenty of drug addicts that are really good people. They just have a vicious addiction. And much like the people I'm talking about, John Hancock has a vicious addiction to video games. He literally wants every game ever created, and he's not going to rest until he has them all. It's probably all he thinks about. I don't know, man. It sounds like kind of a sad existence to me. I mean, they're just pieces of plastic that are sitting on a shelf. I don't know. This whole e-bagging shit just really needs to stop. I think it's time that the fans and viewers start pushing back, and I think they are starting to do that. And his excuse with the membership thing was that Google is pushing him to do it. YouTube's not telling you to do anything, man. The only thing they said is the membership options exist. It's completely up to you. Any decision you make on your channel is 100% up to you. Don't pass the blame on to YouTube or Google or anything. Every decision you've made on your channel has been your own decision. So at least own up to it and be sincere. And instead of calling it a happy accident, be like, look guys, I fucked up. I wanted to get too much money out of you guys. I want all the video games. I don't know. I feel like transparency and honesty is the best way to go. It's the route I try to go, and it seems to work for me. So I don't know. I'm just sick of the liars and the bullshit and the e-begging on YouTube, and I guess for now, if it bugs me that much, I'm gonna call it out. And I know there's gonna be a lot of comments that going like, Dave, why do you gotta be so toxic? Why can't you stay in your own lane? And it's not about being toxic or calling people out. It's mainly about giving a voice to the little guys. Because if some small YouTuber came out and said this, they would just get slapped in the face with "you're jealous," and that would be the end of their argument. Me, that doesn't work for me. I've had success in YouTube. I've had videos that have over millions of views. I used to make over $1,000 a month in ad revenue. I walked away from all that, and I came back now just to purely make content. The AdSense account isn't even in my name, and I don't care to make a dime off YouTube. So it's not about views or subs or money to me. It's just about making content, getting creative, and sharing it with people. And right now, all I want to do is be as transparent as possible and call out hypocrisy when I see it. And that's all I'm doing here. So go ahead and hate me if you want, but I'm really just trying to give a voice to the people that aren't going to be heard, because I know there are a lot of people pissed off. I know I'm not the only one here.